Hello, I'm Mary V. Today, let's talk about how to practice effectively. One of the best bits of advice given by Itzhak Perlman about practice was never let an error go uncorrected. Well, that's a tall order, but it's a brilliant philosophy. Because what practice really is to examine your playing and to try to break it down into incredibly simple ways to practice things. So it's all about examination and slowing things down. Now, this is very different from a philosophy of practice, which is just to repeat over and over and over again for quite a long time. Let me tell you why that's not a very good idea. The way that the muscle memory works is that it's a joining together of the mind and the body to allow something to be repeated, so that we don't have to think about the absolute basics in order to be able to function. So when we practice, the mind and the body, the best way to practice is to make sure that both of them are very fresh. And it's really a timing issue. So no one can really concentrate to an incredible level that's needed for 2 hours, just repetition after repetition. Because the mistake being made there is that probably mistakes are being baked right into one's playing. And it all has to be undone later. So it's better to have a clever way of practicing, which is to stay fresh. Let's take that piece by Bach from the cello suites. So supposing you play that and you notice that every time you go to the D string, it's louder than the A string. So you have a look at what your bowing is doing very, very slowly. So you go through the whole piece very slowly and you make sure that all the dynamics are completely even, for example. And then when you come to decide on the musicality, you might decide that some notes are louder than others. So let's take one of the Bach partitas and we have a look at the intonation very, very slowly. So the bottom A, wasn't in tune the first time I played it because I didn't bring my elbow round enough. So the point about practice is that if you pinpoint something, then do just before it and just after it so that you integrate what you're practicing into before and after. Because if you just isolate it and just practice an A, it's kind of a bit meaningless. It's in the context and the hand positions, ever shifting hand positions. That's what makes things go out of tune, is the fact that things change so much. So that's the way to go through the whole piece very patiently, and every time there's some issue, have a look and see what's causing it, and then do slightly before and slightly after. See if you can sort it out and make it easy. So that's the other thing about practice. It's to make everything very easy with no mental tension or hesitations beforehand. For example, there's a piece where I always have a lot of hesitations. It's in Kreisler's Rigadoon, and it's the bit that goes... Okay, at that speed, there's no hesitations. So let's have a go up to speed, and we'll just have a look at that, okay? Right, well, that was quite good, but that's not quite up to speed, so let's do it a little bit faster and we'll see what happens. Okay, so something happened up. So I'd break it down incredibly slowly. Okay, so I think what I was doing when it went a bit haywire is that I was confusing the third finger and at the point exactly of when it needed to go into from C natural to C sharp. So I was anticipating it too much. I went like that. So it's something to do with the fact that the bow pattern changes, it's all separate. Maybe if I make a little break there. So if you notice, make a little break there. So a tiny hidden break will help me. So you can only do that by really breaking it down, doing it very slowly. But I do a mixture of very free and very careful and very free and very careful until the hesitations leave, because it becomes easier and easier to play. And that's the way to practice, is to try to break it down and make it as simple as possible so that you become aware of what's going on with your hesitations or why it's out of tune. So it's really worthwhile saying, hang on a minute, what am I actually doing here? Am I thinking? Am I just feeling it? Or am I sort of looking out of the window? Because it's very easy to get into habits that are not very helpful in practice. And the thing that you want to avoid is repetition to exhaustion. For example, 2 hours practicing the same thing over and over is actually not very good practice, because both the body and the mind get very, very tired and you're just baking in the wrong sort of muscle memories. So it's a timing issue and it's an attitude issue. Don't work on it for 2 hours and over and over and over at a time. Work on some aspect of it or the piece for no more than 15-20 minutes, and then play something else, or go and have a cup of tea, and then come back and just pick up your violin and play, and let's see how much of your practice has actually stuck. And just keep repeating that process, and you will find that more rested and fresh practice gives you much faster results, much better, more accuracy and more awareness And that's really the best position to be in when you practice, is to be fresh and aware. And don't tire yourself out. And when I was a little girl, I used to get so frustrated with my practice that I would throw the violin, but I'd always throw it on the bed so it wouldn't hurt it. But I used to get very frustrated because I don't think I was practicing properly. I was just trying to play the thing, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I'm like a lot of people. But when you know a few things about practice, you can really, really start improving very fast and get some real progress going. So stay fresh and stay very aware, and you'll get on better, because that's what this instrument demands of you. So I hope something I've said has helped you. I hope you get on well with your practice. And I'll say bye-bye for now. Bye.